Hello and welcome. In this particular session, we are going to learn ifs statement, which is IFS. And this particular statement can effectively replace the nested if statement, which we learned in the previous session. Let's have a look at the nested if once again. It can become really tricky to write a nested if statement because you might get a logic wrong or you may make an error in writing such a big statement. If you really want to have a look at nested if in a convenient way, then this is one idea. Bring your cursor at the bottom of this formula bar on the edge. Now just have a look at the cursor. When the cursor comes to the edge, you will see it gets replaced by vertical double-sided arrow. At this point, keep your left mouse button pressed and drag it down. You will be able to increase the height of this formula bar. What you can do now is use Alt Enter to create line breaks in the formula, which will make it easier to understand. So I'm going to separate the various ifs. I will come to the beginning of the second if, hit Alt Enter. Next, I will come here and hit Alt Enter. And then here and hit Alt Enter and here. So this makes it very easy for you to understand how is the logic and what are the calculations that are being performed in each of the if part of the entire nested if statement. This is how you can actually make it easier for you to see the various if statements. Even while writing the nested if statement, write one condition, write what it needs to do when the condition is true, and then Alt Enter to write the next condition in next line, if that makes it easier for you. However, here is another method which will really make it easy to use nested if statement in a slightly different way. So let's see how ifs statement work. Let me bring back the formula bar to its original size. Our normal if statement, let me write, has three parameters: logical test, action if it is true, and action if it is false. However, in if statement, there are only two parameters: logical test and action when it is true, then comma, second logical test, then action when it is true. So every parameter is separated by a comma. And Excel understands that the first parameter is a test, second parameter is its action when it is true, then the third parameter is the second test, and the fourth parameter is the action when it is the second parameter is true, and so on. And you can write up to 127 such conditions. So let's try this in our price list. So let's start writing the formula equal to sign IFS. Excel, when you are writing the formula name, it is not case sensitive. So even if I have written ifs in small letters, it's okay. So open brackets and the first test, which is this cell equal to this cell? If it is true, then we write comma and the result should be this. Next, we write comma and write the second condition. Is this cell equal to this cell? If it is true, then comma, we write this. This should be the result. Third condition, is this cell equal to this cell? If it is true, then we write comma and the result should be this. Next, and we close the bracket. In this particular case, we don't have to worry about how many brackets we opened and how many brackets we need to close, because there is only one set of brackets in this particular case. Of course, if you have complex conditions in between here in each of these conditions, then you have to take care of the brackets of those conditions. But for the if statement as such, there is only one pair of brackets. Okay, so let's enter and we have the 15% discount, and I'm going to drag this down. Before dragging it down, there is one error we need to correct, which is of absolute cells. So let's correct this. All the cells which are here, we will make them absolute. So I'm going to quickly make it absolute cells by adding $sign. Alright, so I added all the $signs except the last one. We are not going to add $sign to this particular cell reference because it's going to change as we proceed in the next rows. And the last part is done, we hit enter, and we are going to drag this formula down till the end. Okay, so we have got the correct answer. Now there is an error here in these places. The reason being, this is the feature of if statement. If none of the conditions mentioned in if statement is true, then the if statement will give you a not available error. And there is a way to overcome this, which I will explain in the next session.